Hi guys, and welcome to this week's ultimate summer reading vlog, where we're going to sit down and lock in and read a few summer romances together. And then one of those books is actually getting adapted into a show that releases in a couple days, so we're going to sit down and watch that together and do a few more fun activities. Basically a fully rounded off summer vlog, which is why let's just start with that already, because it's my favorite season, it's my favorite time to be doing all of these things, and I'm just so excited. So let's just jump right in, because it's going to be a fun one. So now for context, because I want to sit down and explain what we're actually doing in today's vlog, I figured we'd read a couple of summer romances to start off with. Firstly, starting off with Love and Other Words, which I have a physical copy of, because everyone says that this and Every Summer After are very similar to each other, but you should read this first before you read that, which is why I have my physical copy ready to go. We'll see what it's about. I love Christina. I just finished my reread of a different book of theirs, fourth time, because I love that so much, to the point where now I just can't wait to see their magic in a different book, and hopefully this one will be it, because unanimously on the internet everyone says this is the best book they've ever written. So I'll put that to the test this week. We'll see how I feel about it. But then after we're done with this, I want to go ahead and finally pick up Every Summer After, which they say these two books are similar, and you read this first, you read that, then you get the whole experience. But I want to pick that up because that is actually getting adapted into a show that releases on Wednesday, I believe. Today is Monday, so we have a couple days to catch up on all the reading before the show comes out, because the few influencers that were invited to go to the premiere event of it and whatnot, from whatever they've posted, I'm just so excited to sit down and watch that finally, because I'm someone who has been watching the same two shows for the past 3 years. I'm extremely bad at watching shows unless I'm watching with someone else, or I'm watching for a video and whatnot, to the point where if I don't put in the vlog, I won't get around to it, which is why I figured we could read Every Summer After then, and then watch its show once it comes out, and then figure out my own thoughts and opinions on that, because that looks like peak yearning summer to me, and I really want to see what it's about. And then Every Summer After, that series, it's actually got a second book in it that follows someone called Carley. I have no idea who that is, but apparently after reading that book you're supposed to read this one, and then people say that if the show is getting a season 2, it'll be following this book, to the point where if I sat down and read the entire off-campus books to watch the first season of the show that was only adapted from the first book, and I read all the books and I still haven't watched the show, it's not gonna hurt to read one extra book in this vlog, which is why we'll be reading that book. It's called One Golden Summer, kind of completing our whole summer romances arc and whatnot. Also then getting to watch the show, seeing the whole adaptation, seeing the way it's coming across as, and maybe it'll be my new favorite thing ever, who knows. But then that'll be today's vlog essentially, as I go ahead and do another couple of different summer activities throughout, and we'll be starting today itself, because while I do want to hop into the book right now, and I think I will for a chapter or two, I'm actually going out this evening because I have other plans, and hopefully I'll be getting ice cream and doing another couple of things, which is why I'm going to take you all along with me. It's going to be a mix between a summer vlog with summer activities, reading all these books and whatnot, but also actually having fun doing all of my favorite things ever, which is why those are plans for this week. Let's just hop right in. I'm going to start reading this, but also start getting ready to go, because again, the day awaits me. The evening is nice, bright and shining, and I just can't wait to enjoy it, which is why those are plans for this video. It's going to be a really fun one. I've been waiting quite a while to do this, because all 3 of these books that I'm reading in this vlog are 5-star predictions for me, and the show, obviously, with all the clips that I've been coming across, even though I haven't read the book, I'm just so excited to watch that I can't wait to do all of this with you all together today. And let's just jump right in now, because that's enough an intro. I think I've explained what we're doing pretty decently, and now I just want to start the activities because I've been dying to do them, which is why let's start with that right now. See you all in a bit once I have my first update, and those are plans for this week. So I tried recording this exact update literally one clip ago, but that got messed up because as I was talking there was a power cut right in the middle of it. So this is take 2, and let's hope the same thing doesn't repeat, because until I don't get this done, I'm not going down for dinner, which is why here we are. But I just got back home a little bit ago, because we were supposed to go out for ice cream, but it was apparently a fast to start the pre-birthday celebrations, because it's my birthday on Sunday, literally a week from today, and so it was supposed to be a surprise and whatnot. We ended up going shopping. There's a cafe there, ended up having a few snacks, had the best evening ever. But I only just got back home right now, finished getting packed, changed, chill and whatnot, which is why now I'm back to actually start the book. And I did go ahead and start page 1, and I already had something to say, which is why here I am now for Love and Other Words. And already right off the bat it says that her dad is Danish and her mom is Brazilian, and this reminds me of the time that I read Dial A for aunties like a month ago. I gave that book 5 stars, had the best time ever. But one thing I forgot to say about that was that the culture in it was so beautiful, so I hope we get to see some of that in this book specifically, because over there's like a wedding taking place, and I believe it was like Indonesian culture or something like that. There were a couple more mixes of it, but I can't remember exactly at the moment. But the way they were celebrating, and it was just so lavish and fun, it made me sad in a self-serving way, knowing that I don't have an Indonesian friend whose wedding I can attend one day and get to like see all of that happen in real life, because it sounds so fun. So now I'm hoping that this also has more of like Danish and Brazilian culture in it, because wouldn't that be fun to like get to experience it through the book? Because again, I don't know anyone. Actually, I do know someone who's Danish, but I don't know someone who's Brazilian, and I don't know how I'll get to go through and, you know, experience that culture, which means hopefully the book will give me that, which is why here we are. I'm gonna keep reading. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, that was just my first update. I love it when books have something different from what I'm already accustomed to, because I feel like it helps me somewhat broaden my horizons, and hopefully this will give me that as well. But so far, I do believe this is like a second chance romance with like past and present perspective, and we all know that that's my favorite thing ever. So let's hope that this ends up being magical enough that it like overtakes my current favorite CeeLo to become my favorite CeeLo book, because honestly that would just be incredible. But now I'm going to keep reading, and hopefully tonight I get enough progress so I can give you like a proper summary tomorrow, because I don't actually know what the book is about, which is why I'm going to get to reading now and update you in a bit. But that's Love in Other Words. Let's see how it goes. So far the cover is cute, story hopefully will be as great, and I'm going to go now. So bye. Hi guys, so it's now exactly the next evening and whatnot, literally been 24 hours. I didn't do a lot of reading yesterday because frankly, after dinner and whatnot, I was just a little bit tired. I ended up watching a bit of YouTube, whatever, had the night away, which is why today is when I, sat back in this evening and whatnot to catch up. And I wish I came in sooner to update, but the thing is, I wasn't able to put it down. So I'm here again for Love in Other Words. I have page 206, so I'm at the halfway point at this point. And all I'm going to say is I binged all of this in the span of this evening, and yeah, I'm loving this book right now. I don't even know what to say about it, but first I'll give you a summary before I give you some of my thoughts and then get back to it, because I want to see where the story goes. I'm rooting for these characters so hard, and just I know it's going to rip me to shreds towards the end of it, but again, we'll just have to see what happens. I'm so down for it regardless, because I can't put it down. This is the only thing in my mind right now. I'm having so much fun, and I wanted to read something like this, and this found me at exactly the right time, so here we are. In this book, we have past and present timeline, and in the past timeline, when Macy is younger, her mom passes away, leaving only her dad and, herself in this world, to the point where they're lonely, and off of the mom's late instructions and whatnot, they end up deciding to, purchase this, cabin house sort of place as, a weekend getaway house and whatnot, this place, and they end up buying it, this locality where their next door neighbors are essentially the Petropolis family, and they have this son called Elliot. They have a bunch of sons. They have I think 5 sons or something like that. That's quite a bit. 4, sorry. But Elliot specifically is the one who ends up becoming her best friend out of it all, because he has this thing wherein he goes and reads in the closet of her house, because it was an open house before it was bought and whatnot, and so through that they have introductions made, they start hanging out more, and she starts realizing that he is the only person who can truly understand her now after her mom's passed away, and he's the only one who's not walking around eggshells near her. He's ready to openly speak about it, and he's the only person she can truly be herself with. So you essentially watch all these times that she and her dad end up going to that weekend house, and she's hanging out with Elliot and doing all these things wherein they're reading and sharing their favorite books and whatnot. They are discussing their favorite words. They're trying to figure out just the qualms of growing up together and whatnot, because this is childhood friends to lovers. And throughout it all, as they're spending so much time together, they start to realize that they have feelings for each other. It slowly starts devolving, and you can kind of see them falling for each other throughout it all, but they don't want to risk the friendship until something happens, and suddenly you don't know what went wrong between them, but that was past timeline, and you swap over to present, which it keeps alternating between a couple chapters. So one chapter is present, one chapter is past, and you keep going back and forth to kind of try to figure out what actually happened in the past. But for current present day, we have Macy living a completely different life from what you would have expected, watching her hang out with Elliot, because at the moment at least she's a children's doctor. She is very much just figuring out, now it's her late 20s, what she's doing with her life, and she's planning her wedding to this different older guy and whatnot. And suddenly you're wondering where the hell Elliot went, until you start to realize that, oh wait, she might still have feelings for him, and all of that kind of culminates in this moment wherein they actually end up running into each other in this cafe, and suddenly she realizes that she can't really put her life on hold. Things are going too forward and whatnot, but at the same time she doesn't want anything apart from him because he's still always been her one true forever love and whatnot, and running into him now makes her remember that. And suddenly she's trying to figure out what she's going to do with her life next, knowing that, you know, she's about to marry someone different. He's right there. He breaks up with his girlfriend the first time he sees her because he knows that he still has feelings for her. And so again, they're navigating all of that. They're hanging out. They're becoming, again, a little more than friends at the same time. And it's a really good story so far. All I'll say is, at the moment at least, the older guy that Macy is with, Sean, he's really pissing me off. And I think in the previous chapter they sort of broke up, so I'm hoping that stays true, because he's just like such a walking red flag in comparison to like Elliot, that please open your eyes and go. But at the same time, I love Macy. I find her relatable as a character, and what she's going through at the same time, you know, also makes sense. It's just Elliot, he's just so shy and sensitive and sweet, and just I need them to be together, obviously, because that's the book, but also I can't, okay? I feel like that one Taylor Swift song, Oh, I'm Falling in Love. That's me right now when I'm reading about Elliot, because anytime something little just comes up about him, I just know that these two need to be endgame, and I need to watch that happen, because otherwise I'm just gonna be so mad and pissed off. And at the moment at least, the book is at like a solid 4.5 stars. It's just I need a little bit more of Elliot right now, because the other guy, he's making me so mad. I hate him so much. It feels like a trauma bond between the two of them, Macy and Sean, and I need Elliot to come in now, so let's see what goes down. But all I'll say is, so far at least, what we are getting with him, especially like the past perspectives, I'm kind of scared to see what happened to like separate them, because they seem like such soulmates and whatnot, and I can definitely see their connection. So it's gonna hurt when, you know, they separate and whatnot in the past timeline. You finally start to get reasons, but also I need them to come together again as well in the present timeline. Lots of things are needed to be happening, but yeah, I'm just gonna go get back to it, because at the moment that's the only thing I can think about. I can't even give you like a good review, considering the fact that all my brain is just like stuck up in here, which is why I'm gonna go do that. But already beautiful cover so far, beautiful story. There are a couple moments wherein I, you know, was starting to tear up, because there's the story with her mom as well, and there's grief very well explained in this book and whatnot. And then you can also kind of see it portrayed as a women's fiction, not necessarily a romance. It's almost reminding me of like an Emily Henry read, which are my favorite sorts. So if we get more of that with the romantic subplot, I just know that it's gonna eat the rest of the way. I just need Sean out of the picture right now, which is why I'm gonna go keep reading. Let's pray for that to happen. But so far, yeah, I'm loving it. Otherwise, I'm loving her friend group, I'm loving Sabrina and everyone else. It's just I need more of Elliot, you know what I mean? Which is why I'm gonna get back to it. This is still like my favorite tropes ever, because childhood friends to lovers and second chance, so I'm eating every second of it up, and it's already reminding me of some of my favorite books ever, like Emily Henry's obviously, but also Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan, and that one felt a lot like cheating, so I didn't have the best time in it. But so far here it doesn't feel like it, so I'm enjoying this. And then if you guys remember me reading The Infinity Between Us a few summers ago, that and like it's the best combination of all my favorite things from those books into this, which is why let's just see where it goes. But so far I'm loving it so much. I love how bookish they are, how sweet they are, how you know they're supposed to end up together, and watching them kind of fall for each other at the same time. Truly, I'm just eating this up, which is why I'm gonna get back to it now, see the rest of it through, and I'll update you all in a bit. This is gonna be probably one of my favorite books ever anyway, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Okay guys, so it's now the next update time, because it's the next evening. It's getting to like nightish and whatnot. It's getting dark outside, but I'm here for my next update because I managed to hit page 345. I'm nearly at the end. I only have this much left. And here's the thing, as I'm reading this book, I feel like the authors have done such like an incredible adult job of showing you the way you might not be right for someone and someone else might not be right for you. For example, Macy and Sean, but in like a non-toxic way, because the way it was sorted and handled, I thought that was done really well. But then also they've done such like a beautiful representation of showing you that you still have that one person of yours out there who is perfect for you in every way possible, Elliot. And the way you're so soulmatey right off the bat, and the like true love that you have for that one person, and just the way it's depicted in this book, I can't, okay? And here's the thing, I hit page 345 last night. I fully was intent on finishing it and binging the whole thing, except the thing is, when they described the third act conflict at the beginning and whatnot, she says that something happened between the two of them on like New Year's Day or something like that, one day before New Year's. And the thing is, we have reached that scene, so I'm assuming it's gonna happen right now, because I started the chapter and then I just knew in my head I can't do it, alright? I just know that, hey, even if we stop this book at this point, I don't need to know what the conflict was. I don't need to know what went wrong, because at the moment at least it's perfect to me. I don't need that spoiled, which is why I knew in that moment at least, at that point in the night, I didn't have the courage to go ahead and finish it out, which is why I put it down. And then today, all day as well, I haven't had it in me to pick it up and to like break my heart watch it happen, which is why I was reading like a whole different like easy cheesy romance book on my Kindle, just because I needed to get my mind off of things. But then also today is Wednesday, today is the day the Every Year After show comes out, which is adapted from Every Summer After, and at this point I would have at least liked to get this book and that one done so we could start watching like an episode of that. But none of that's happened because I just feel so hungover over this, which is again a great feeling in terms of like a book, obviously, because I've been in a reading slump, but at the same time not good for the vlog, which is why at this point I think I'm just gonna have to do it. I'm gonna force myself to pick it back up, see what happens next. It's just I'm really terrified to watch it all go down, because I don't know if I have it in my heart. I don't know if I'm strong enough to read it, which is why I've been putting it off. But again, great testament to show how much I'm loving this book so far. And I know it's gonna be painful, but at the same time I need to know where it goes as well, because that's been bothering me, which is why here we are. I'm gonna go continue it now. I just pray for me that it doesn't like break me fully, because it's my birthday next week. Alright, that's the only excuse I've got at this point. But yeah, here we are. I'm gonna go finish the rest of this out. All I wanted to say is that come in for like an update and let you know that I'm still having an amazing time with it. It's just I'm scared to go and finish it out now to see what happens next and know that I'm done. At this point I'll be done reading it for the first time ever. The next time I read it, I'll already know what happens and I won't get that feeling again, and I'd sell my soul to read it again for the first time. But at the same time, that's not really possible, which is why here we are. I'm gonna get back to reading it. I just wanted to say that I need to develop the courage to like get to the last little bit, because I know that point has come. And yeah, I'm gonna see what I end up doing, but I'm still on this book. I don't know how I'll ever move on. I'm gonna be stuck here forever, in a good way, because I love it so much. And just everything about it, I have such like a giddy smile on my face, knowing that it's gonna lead up in me, you know, crying and whatnot. But at the same time I can't wait for it, which is why great sign for a great book. I'm gonna go see it through now, see the last little bit of it and what happens next. But yeah, I just wanted to update and say that I have the third act conflict left. I'm a bit scared, but also finally gonna read it, and I'm gonna stop stalling now, actually get to it. And yeah, hopefully the next time I see you I'll be done with this. We'll have started the next book, who knows. But I don't know how I'm ever gonna recover, so we'll figure that out. I'm gonna get to it and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye. Alright guys, so it's now the next day. I took all of yesterday to basically recover, because I needed that desperately after having gone ahead and finished and binged the ending of Love and Other Words. And all I'll say is I'm so grateful knowing that this is like one of a kind. I probably don't think I'll be reading another book similar to this for the rest of my life, because I don't think I'll be able to withstand the pain that comes with it, because it shattered me, but at the same time I actually enjoyed every second of it, which is why I'm just gonna have to say it. There's no other rating I can give it that feels correct. This was 5 stars. And we all saw that coming. We all know that I ended up crying. We all know that I needed time to like compose myself and pull myself together, because this book, it hurts so much. The ending, please look up trigger warnings, because what happens in their conflict and stuff, it's extremely sad, and you need to, you know, be aware. If you need to be aware, your mental health comes first. But apart from everything else, yeah, there's nothing like reading about that one aching, yearning sort of love, and that's what I've been looking for in probably every single romance book that I read and whatnot ever since my slump began. And this gave me every second of it. I enjoyed it so much. I can't wait to probably revisit it when I feel stronger again. At the moment I feel vulnerable, so it's not happening anytime soon. But I did have the best time ever, and hopefully next time it doesn't scrape me as raw, because I'll, you know, have known by that point what actually happens in the book. It's crazy. I had the best time ever. There's truly nothing like it. And if y'all haven't picked this up, what are you doing? Literally just go read this. It's probably going to be one of the best things you ever read if you're like a fan of romance and those sort of things. But yeah, I have gone ahead and already recommended it to everyone I know because it's just that incredible and I need more people to read it. Even though quite a majority of the internet has already read it, I was just late to my own game. And frankly, I feel like it's still right book, right time, because if I would have read it at the beginning of my book talk journey, I probably would not have enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed it myself today and whatnot, which is why here we are, 5 stars. The only qualm I have is that I wish the conflict at the end and whatnot was discussed a little bit more into length towards the end and whatnot, and it was given a name to what happened to him. I don't want to go into specifics, but I wish that was acknowledged. It wasn't necessarily, which is why this is just short of 6 stars, but otherwise, yeah, I still had an amazing time. I still don't have it in me to deduct like a 0.5 or anything, make it 4.5, because it's out of this world amazing. Doesn't feel like it, which is why 5 stars, done with this, moving on, because if I don't, I'm gonna be in a slump. Here we are, on to the next book. So if anyone remembers the time a couple months ago when I read Happy Place, Funny Story, the rest of Emily Henry's Backlist in a line, and then the week after that I ended up reading the Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, those books, Fourth Wing and whatnot. That's, I believe, when my slump began, because I have this rule for myself that whenever I read a 5-star book, I won't read anything for the rest of the day, so I can like absorb what I read in the 5-star, except after having given myself time to do so between the gap of all those books and reading all of that. None of the books I read after that sort of measured up to that, which is why I was stewing in them for too long, and that's how my slump began, which is why I told myself that, hey, I know I love this and I know this is 5 stars, but if I give myself time to like again process this, it's just gonna end up hurting me even more to the point where I don't want to pick up a book, which is why forcefully I made myself listen to like 3 chapters of the next book yesterday, and then today I went back to continue, just because I knew that if I gave myself like a proper break to again absorb this, it's obviously a great book. It's obviously something I would love to do emotionally and whatnot. It's just I'm a bit raw at the moment and my birthday's coming up. I don't want to be sad, but also because I don't want to be in like a horrible slump just because I was processing this for too long and then I didn't feel like moving on, which is why I did start the next book. It's called Every Summer After, the one we're actually supposed to be reading so we can watch the show. And while I can see like specific bits of it that definitely remind me and are reminiscent of this book, it's like a whole different book in itself, so I'm excited to see where it goes, even though it doesn't necessarily compare up at the moment at least to this book, because I did go ahead and continue in terms of progress of listening more today because I had time and whatnot the whole morning and afternoon. The thing I will say is that I don't necessarily think I like the main girl. She's kind of annoying. She doesn't really have chemistry with the guy, and also his brother, he's just such a piece of shit to him. His name is Charlie, by the way, so I'm assuming the next book we're supposed to read is in his perspective. But yeah, I'm not having the best time right now. I think it's simply coming off of the high of this to the point where I just don't have it in me to like read another book. But if I don't, I'll fall in a slump, which is why you'll get my dilemma. I'm still gonna go ahead and I guess like march my way through this, and I'm still in the early stages, so not a lot can be said. It's just at the moment it's not the best book I've ever read, simply because again I read something with similar tropes and had so much fun with it that it doesn't hold up a candle even to this, which is why here we are. It's got similar tropes for the past and present, so I'm hoping things will pick up, but also Second Chance is still my favorite like romance trope ever, so I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm gonna keep listening to it, and if y'all can tell from the poor lighting and whatnot, we've had a power cut the entire day today, which is why it's a good thing I have this and the next audiobook that we're supposed to listen to already downloaded on my phone, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to, which is why now that I have the books ready, I can just go ahead and hop right into it. I don't know when the electricity is coming back in again, so until then I guess I'll just be chilling with my book, using the backups to kind of sit down and like work on my reading journal as well, because I have a lot of catch up to do. But yeah, all that being said, those are my plans for this evening. Let's see how Every Summer After goes. Hopefully it's as good as, if not better than this one, because I'm having the best time ever. Can you imagine I found a 5-star just a couple days before my birthday, and what if I find one more with this one, and that would just be insane, which is why I'm still keeping my hopes high up, even though I'm not necessarily liking the beginning of this book. But again, we'll just see what happens. I'm gonna go keep reading and I'll update you all in a bit once I have things to say, but that was the update right now. I'm gonna get back to it. Hopefully we'll be able to finish it by tonight and then start an episode of the show as well, because it came out yesterday. I want to see what the hype is all about, because I've been seeing so many people posting about it that I'm going to join the bandwagon as well. But that's it for the current update. I'm going to go now. See y'all in a bit, and bye. Alright guys, so it's many hours later. It's the same evening. I have been genuinely so productive today that I've gone ahead, and because I had literally nothing else to do, I finished listening to Every Summer After, and now the electricity is back, so it's perfect because since I've got Wi-Fi signal again, I can go ahead and watch the show because I'm done with the book. But at the same time, I'm not sure if I want to, so we discuss the book first and we'll get into my thoughts and whatnot. But basically, For a quick premise, this is very, very similar to Love in Other Words, and I don't know if this is just Carley Fortune's like MO and whatnot, because the way it works is that even the last couple books I've read by her in the past and whatnot, they've been very similar to other books. So I'm just wondering, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, I'm just wondering if that's a thing here. But this one, it was extremely similar as I kept reading in different aspects, even like the tiniest details and whatnot, they felt picked up from that one. But basically, if the summary sounds kind of similar, it's basically like that. We follow Persephone, short everyone calls her Percy and whatnot. The way it works is that when she was younger, her parents, they had her later on in life, so they're kind of older and whatnot as compared to like other parents of the same age and whatnot. The point where they end up buying this like vacation house and whatnot for like a place so they can like kind of hang out as a family and be close to their only daughter, except the vacation house that they buy, it's in Barry's Bay, and the neighboring house actually belongs to Sam and Charlie Florrick, that family. And so when she's younger and she's hanging out, they end up hanging out together and whatnot. Slow friendship sort of develops from there between Percy and Sam, and you can kind of see their summers together in each of the chapters that it's told. They're starting to like fall for each other, and they want again more than friendship, but they are not ready to like risk that friendship yet. Except now when you switch back over to present timeline, it's more than a decade later. She's working a whole job in the city and whatnot. Her parents have sold the cottage at this point, and she just hasn't had touch with Barry's Bay for like years now. She hasn't spoken to the Florricks or anything like that, and suddenly she ends up getting this call that says that, hey, Sam, his mom actually passed away, and she used to be very close to Sue, so she figures, okay, she'll end up going for the funeral and whatnot, be there for Sam despite everything that went wrong in the past, because she wants to finally see his face again after all the time that they haven't. And as it turns out that in the past timeline, something happens when they finally get together and have a relationship. There's this big mistake that she makes, that now when she's going back in present timeline, she wants to go back and fix it and try to see if things are salvageable with him, because she still just wants her best friend back. And all I'll say is, Carley Fortune, why would you do that? Okay, as I kept reading, I was able to see at a certain point what would come, and I kept praying, crossing my fingers that it wouldn't happen. There was a specific trope that was thrown in there as part of like the third act conflict and whatnot, and all I'll say is, Sam deserved better. I was right in my hate for Percy. I just don't like her as a character. I don't want to spoil it for you all, because if you haven't read it, this is like a huge thing, obviously. But then also, all I'll say is, I can forget Sam, alright? Just think about Charlie for a second. What he did, I can never imagine doing that to my sibling, and maybe I'm just emotionally attached in an unhealthy way with my sibling, but I just cannot imagine doing that. And then they're still moving on and considering conversations past that, and they're still trying to make Sam like a copy-paste version of Elliot, and it doesn't work, alright? And again, if you think about it, the conflict in both of the books, it's similar, but the only thing that's different is consent, because there was no consent. Here there was consent, which is why these people are in the wrong. And all I'll say is, guys, it's just not okay, alright? I don't know how people are romanticizing it. I don't know who in their right mind would give that, especially that trope towards the end, 5 stars, because it just disgusted me. It spoiled the story. I feel like even at whatever pace it was going, that I did not enjoy it because I didn't necessarily connect to them and I couldn't see any chemistry. I still was gonna give it like a 3-4 stars purely for like the romantic summer nostalgic vibes. I did enjoy some of the past perspectives. They were making like embroidery floss friendship bracelets and stuff for each other that I thought was cute. I used to do that back in the day, so I was able to relate. But then as we kept reading, it kept getting so annoying, and the fact that Sam is supposed to put up with it, and they had like one conversation and suddenly they're back together, and he is being blamed for the entire thing. I'm sorry, guys, this is like Jeremiah part 2 from The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it's romanticized in this book in a way that it wasn't for me, which is why I'm gonna give this book like a 2 stars, maybe 3 stars at the highest, but I can't give it any more than that, because it's pissing me off knowing what happens in this, and knowing that after this, the next book, it follows Charlie. I can't care less to read it, but at the same time, I already did go ahead and download the book and whatnot. I gave my credit for it, which means either I listen now or there's like a wasted credit, which is why I'm gonna go figure out what I end up doing to read like the next book and whatnot, whether I'm even gonna get to it, because frankly, I can't do it. I hate him so much. I need things to be justified if I am to read the next one. And then about the show specifically, for me personally, I'm extremely horrible at watching shows. I can't do it, alright? I try so hard. I think I mentioned it in my intro and whatnot. I've been watching the same 2 shows for the past 3 years now. It's not even funny. The only show I finished in the past few months and whatnot recently is because I was watching it as like a buddy watch with someone else, Gossip Girl, and because it was actually interesting. But if I'm watching something on my own time, it needs to hold my attention so I can still slowly get my way through it. And the thing is, I did not like this book, and I like watching adaptations of books I actually enjoyed. And the thing is, I hated this. So I'm not sure if I want to watch the adaptation and piss myself off again, because this felt very much like it was trying too hard to be Love in Other Words, and definitely failed and whatnot, because it was trying to be like a carbon copy but quirky in its own way. And I'm not ready to watch that on the screen, knowing what comes. If they've changed like the storyline, I'll go look it up. Then I'll probably watch it. And if that thing that doesn't happen at the end, then I will see it. But otherwise, I don't really care to, which is why, again, let's just see what ends up happening. I think tonight I will sit down and just watch one episode, and if it's enough, if it's okay for me to keep going and I find it alright that I'll be able to put up with it, maybe I'll fast forward and watch the rest of them. But otherwise, I cannot care less, especially if that same thing repeats, because it's like rage baiting me at this point. I don't even know why I'm going on about it. It's just, it really pissed me off and I didn't like it, which is why here we are, done with this book. I will probably go start the next one tonight as well, because I paid for the credit and whatnot. If I didn't have it, I probably just wouldn't pick it up, which is why let's just see how things go. I need such like a redemption story right now if I am to actually continue this, because otherwise what was this week? Alright, I found the best book ever, followed by the worst book ever, with one of my least favorite tropes that I obviously don't condone. And then now I don't know what to do, which is why let's see what I end up doing. I'll update you all on more progress updates, I guess, in a bit once I have things to say. If I end up watching the episode and whatnot, if I end up starting it tonight, and then the other book as well. But again, it really just depends, because why would you do that? If you're an author and you're writing romance books, you know people hate it, but that trope was included. And what was the point, really? Like, if you're trying to include conflict that they haven't spoken for all these years, you could have put something else in. Really? That one thing, sorry, it's pissing me off. I'm gonna go now. I can't think of anything right now. I hated the book and I don't know what to say, which is why Sam deserves better. He should run away. Percy needs therapy. Charlie needs therapy. The mom, I just feel bad for her knowing that she raised someone like that, and I gotta go now, because I don't care how well it's justified in the book, because it definitely is. I don't care if it's romanticized, it's just not okay, and goodbye. Okay guys, so it's now the next night. I have gone ahead and started and finished the next book out in the series in the time being and whatnot since yesterday, because I figured I don't want to watch the show, at least at the moment. I want to read the book, making sure that there won't be any spoilers and whatnot, Easter eggs for the book that I'd miss and whatnot, which is why you can never be too sure. I ended up finishing this book and now I can go watch the show, knowing I know all the content that's out there about this world specifically, so I know anything for the future won't be spoiled in case I ever felt like going back to it, which is why, this is off my TBR now as well. I'm done with it, and so I figured we'd speak about this now, discuss my plans in a little bit, and then figure out if I'm watching the show as well, because again, not really made up my mind on that. But this one was quite a bit better than the previous book. It's just, again, it's not my favorite, because knowing what I do from the previous book, I couldn't see Charlie in another light. Maybe all the people who like rated 5 stars online and stuff and loved it, maybe it's because they were able to like distance it or whatnot, because I know people read the first book when it came out and whatnot, when it blew up on BookTok, and then the second book, which just came out last year, with like a time gap of a few years in the middle. I read them back to back, so frankly I just don't have the forgiveness in me yet, which is why here we are. It still was a better story though, so I figured we could discuss that before again moving on to the show, which is why here I am to come speak about it. For a quick premise of this book specifically, we have Alice, who is our main female character. She ends up spending her summer at 17 at Barry's Bay, so the place where it all takes place and whatnot, in this cottage that's of her grandparents' friend and whatnot, except she's spending it with her grandma there, and she ends up taking this photo over there. That's the whole reason that fuels her into going into photography as a career field. It's a photo of 3 people riding on this boat at the lake and whatnot, and the 3 people in the photo are Sam, Charlie, and Percy from the first book. And now fast forward to present day, she is in her 30s. She's very much a power sort of businesswoman in the photography gig and whatnot. She is very confident, she is very happy with her life where she's at, except something happens and suddenly now she has to go back to Barry's Bay, and that's actually because her grandma, who she spent her summer there with, she ends up breaking her hip and whatnot in this fall, and so for recovery and whatnot, they figure out that hey, they could try to feel and spend one more golden summer there to kind of get their mind off of things. Alice has had like a bad breakup recently, and so just to like get a fresh start over and feel like her 17-year-old self felt again for that nostalgic golden summer. She goes there, she prepares this whole list of things she wants to do again to feel 17 again and get away from, again, the stress of her high-powered job and her real life, and also with her grandma. Except what she doesn't realize is that the man who owns the cottage, who is their grandma's friend, he ends up hiring Charlie to kind of look after the two of them and make sure their stay is like great. And Charlie is one of the guys from the photo. So as soon as they come into contact, she kind of realizes that, oh wait, that's him, and she's had the biggest crush on him since taking the photo. Except now they're hanging out, he figures out that her list exists. He's got his own like things weighing down upon him as he's getting older. He's like 35 or something like that, and that's the age his father died, so he's got a lot of trauma from that as well. He's just, again, kind of hidden from life. So upon discovering her list, he figures that hey, he'll like help her achieve that summers that she had at 17, and together they'll have their golden summer, the three of them hanging out. So Charlie, Alice, and her grandmother and whatnot. Except as they're doing all of this, there's all these like summer nostalgic sort of romance movie montage scenes going on, to the point where they're falling in love in the background. And again, it cannot work because they have different lives to get back to. This is just like a temporary summer fling, but the hearts don't realize that. And it's a much better story than the previous one. But here's the thing, I know people say that obviously he made like a mistake in the previous book and whatnot, but that mistake ruined his younger brother's life for 10 years, ruined probably any trust they would have, even if they're frankly showing signs of having moved on, because you just don't move on from that. So maybe I personally I don't know, maybe I'm being petty over characters that don't exist, maybe I'm being catty right now, but to me what he did was unforgivable in the first book, which is why going into this book I had that sort of lens kind of obscuring my vision of him, which is why I feel like if that preconceived notion wasn't there, I would have enjoyed this book and rated it much higher. It's just because that was there, I wasn't personally the biggest fan of it, but I did enjoy the summer vibes of it overall. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Not a bad book necessarily, it's just, again, the characters, it just didn't work for me in that sense. And so at this point I will read the new Carley Fortune book that's come out, because it's on my 26 to read in 26. It's just after that I don't know if I'll be reading any more books of hers, because with that I will have completed her entire backlist. And from her entire backlist, there's only one book I actually truly enjoyed, which was This Summer Will Be Different, the one with the yellow cover. And so looking back, I'm not sure if her books are for me. This one specifically, the characters, again, Charlie just didn't like him because of the previous book. And she definitely tried making up for it by making him cocky and flirty and whatnot. In my opinion, it didn't work. And then Alice, in this book, she felt like such a pushover, because like in her real life that she is such like an uptight person trying to just work her job. She's almost like Nora from Book Lovers, except it just didn't work in a way that specifically catering to what you know of the character here. And just, again, I just did not like how she kept bending over and whatnot, which is why for me overall, again, like I said, 3 stars. Might not get back to her books after this, which is why that would be sad, but at the same time, at least the summer vibes have convinced me enough to at least give the show a try, which is why tonight I'll be going and editing whatever clips I have of this video so far, so I don't have to edit on my birthday and whatnot. But tomorrow, since I'll be free the entire day basically, I'll have gotten all the editing out of the way and I'm already done reading all the books that I had to for this video. I'm thinking we can sit down and at least try to watch one episode of the show, and then on the basis of what I think about that, decide whether I want to continue watching and see if I want to binge the whole thing in a day, which again, I haven't done that before. Actually, I have for Manifest, but that's the only show I've done it for, and that was a few years ago when I had like no responsibilities on my head and stuff. So again, it really depends on my mood in the moment. If I feel like it, we will go ahead and watch the entire thing. If I don't even blame myself, because I know that things gonna happen at the end of the first book in the show, and I don't want to watch it. But at the same time, it's for the video. If I would have known before I was recording this video that the book had that and whatnot, I just know that I wouldn't have read it ever, and I wouldn't have had this video going anywhere. But at least we got a 5-star out of it, you know what I mean? Which is why here we are. I'm gonna go see what I end up doing about the show tomorrow. If I do end up enjoying it though, purely for the summer vibes, I think I will go ahead and see it through, maybe at like a sped up pace, so I can still get through with it and then discuss it with y'all, but also not invest too much into it, because frankly I don't care. Which is why, again, really depends, we will see. But it has 8 episodes. Hopefully I'll be done next time I come speak to you with at least 1 or 2 of them, and then my thoughts on what I'm doing with the rest. But those are my plans for right now. I'm gonna get back to it, get to editing, and then maybe we can even start an episode tonight if I'm done early, who knows. But that's it, those are the goals, and I'm gonna get to it now. So see y'all in a bit. Bye. Okay guys, it's now the next evening. I have gone ahead and obviously edited out everything I had to so far for this video, which is why I had the time to sit down and lock in and at least start episode 1 of the show. And all I'll say is this week I'm actually posting my video a day early because I don't want to be editing or doing any of that on my birthday, which means this video is actually going out tonight and not tomorrow night, which is why this would technically be the end of the vlog. But I figured I'd come in and give you an update on the show that I started, at least because it was supposed to be part of the video, because we don't have any more days left to complete it anyway, and because frankly I just don't want to, which is why we'll speak about that for a second. But then now we have reached the end of the vlog because we have done all the summer reading that we had to. We did start a show that technically is not my favorite, but I'll get to that in a second. Basically with that we have reached the end of the vlog, and that's where we are right now. The show though, every year after, don't know why the titles changed or anything like that, but I did manage to watch one episode. I saw that there are 8 and only season 1 is out at this point, so I figured okay, good starting off place, let's just see how it goes. And while I did watch it at a little bit of a sped up pace because frankly I just don't care, from what I was able to tell from the story, it's very well adapted from the book. Some of the scenes, they're exactly the way they were in the book, the way I pictured them on the screen, and I feel like it was very well done. The casting is great, just the setting and everything is great. The story, obviously it's going so good so far, very summer coded, something y'all will probably love if you're a hopeless romantic. But here's the thing, I have read the book and I do know what goes down at the very end as part of conflict, and I don't really care to watch it frankly, because I feel so unfair, especially now that I was like watching the first episode. At least you can tell how much they're both in love with each other and how much it would have killed Sam to know what happens in the conflict, and I don't want to go through that right now. Tomorrow's my birthday, literally, so I don't want to be watching a show that I frankly just don't want to watch because I know how it ends, and I know that's not my favorite trope ever to see on screen, which is why, having watched the first episode, I can conclude that the show is not for me. And even though the first episode was great and whatnot, it's just knowing where the story goes and knowing what turn the events are going to take that I just don't care for, which is why here's where I'm stopping with it. If I were to rate it though, it's very similar to the book, and in terms of that, the book to screen adaptation, not the actual story, I'd give it like a 5 stars because it's done really well. Even the casting, everyone, the characters, they're so perfect to like realize and differentiate between and whatnot. It's just the actual story from the book was kind of made for me, which is why I don't care to watch the show, and that's why here we are. Who knows, maybe I'll have luck with a different adaptation at some other point in time, because I watched Project Hail Mary a few months ago. I had the best time with that, and so it really just depends. It's the most random of things, but because I don't watch a lot of movies, I feel like some of them can impress me really well and some really let me down, and because the book let me down in the first place, I don't have a lot going into the show, which is why here I am making this decision. Another thing is that this morning when I was scrolling and whatnot, I saw one about Every Year After, and I heard someone say that apparently it's supposed to be like a 5-season show or something like that. It's going to be expanded more than the material that was in the books, and obviously I haven't confirmed it or verified and fact checked on my own, so I can't prove that to you. It's just word of mouth, what I heard, what I'm relaying back to you. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't think I have it in me to watch a show with 5 seasons of something I just don't care about and whatnot, and something I don't personally enjoy, which is why again I don't watch a lot of shows. The ones I do watch have to be really good to hold my attention, which is why here we are, DNF for me. With that, now we have reached the end of the vlog. Hopefully you guys aren't too disappointed in me, considering the fact that I'm not going to continue the show. I did not like 2 of the books. However, we did find a 5-star read in the video, and I feel like that just makes up for the entire progress, which is why here we are. We have now reached the end of this video. If you guys did enjoy coming along with me though, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them. And with that, we have reached the end of this specific vlog, which is why I'll see y'all now directly next week for my birthday vlog very soon. Gonna be so fun. I'm literally so excited. But yeah, until then, take care, stay safe. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope you did enjoy this vlog regardless of whatever it was, and let me know all of your thoughts on the specific things we did in this video as well, the books, the show, if you've gone ahead with it, if I should continue it despite the fact that at the moment I don't feel like it. Yeah, anyway, like I said, I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching this video until then, and bye.